Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If you watched our previous vlog, you know that I was going to talk about what happened on Noah's birthday, and I am not going to make this intro too long. I'm just going to jump right into the video and explain everything that happened. Before I start though, I do want to say make sure you are following us over on our Instagram, because that is where we will post updates if we aren't uploading, or if you guys want to just see more of what we're doing or what's going on with the kids, because I know we have been kind of taking breaks. So I will leave those links down below. You can also follow us on our Facebook and Twitter, but to be honest, I don't really use our Twitter, and I sometimes use our Facebook, but where you can find us most is on our Instagram page. Alright, so I have Charlie here joining me because he just wants mommy to hold him. Okay, so what had happened? So June 26th, as you guys know, is Noah's birthday. That was Noah's 4th birthday. We had big plans. Me and the kids had like semi-big plans. It's his birthday. Such a beautiful day out. It was sunny. It was warm. It wasn't too hot. Before Gage went to work that day, he blew up a bunch of balloons so Noah could wake up to a fun little surprise. Noah picked out some burger cupcakes because he loves burgers. Noah's like new favorite thing is cheeseburgers. So he picked out like cheeseburger cupcakes, and you know, we were just gonna have this like fun day, and then when Gage got home from work, we were gonna have like a little celebration and have some cupcakes and like ice cream and like, you know. Noah woke up that morning, and I figured he kind of woke up early, and so I just let him and Maya was up too. I just kind of let them hang out in my room. That's like their favorite thing to do in the morning, is they love to come in my room, our room, and watch YouTube, because we have the Xbox up here. And so every morning they usually come in our room and they put on Daily Bumps. They could watch the same Daily Bumps like video over and over again, but that's like their favorite thing. They don't put anything else on besides Daily Bumps. Sometimes they'll put on like the So Cassie channel, but a majority of the time it is the Daily Bumps channel. So that's what they did, and I let them do that because Charlie was still sleeping and Weston was still sleeping. So I was like, you guys can just have a chill morning. It's your birthday. Like, we're gonna have kind of a busy day. I'm gonna let Weston sleep and I'm gonna let Charlie sleep. 9:30 rolls around and Weston starts, you know, fussing in his crib. So I'm like, okay, he wants to get up. I go in there and I pick him up. I noticed he's a little warm, but I figured it was probably our house, like our air conditioning was having some problems at that time. I pick him up and, you know, I'm telling him, I'm like, you know, there's balloons downstairs and, you know, we're gonna have such a fun day. I get him hyped up because Weston's like me and he is not a morning person. Like we just don't like the mornings. You know, I'm trying to get him hyped up and he was excited. He's like, balloon, balloon. Like he's been talking a lot. And I'm so excited to start vlogging again and show you guys like how much he's talking. It's crazy. You know, it's so cute. He was, you know, saying balloon, balloon, and you know, he was so excited. And so I take him out of his crib and I go to like put him down so I can, you know, get his diaper and get his clothes and get everything out and ready for the day, and get Charlie's stuff out and ready for the day because they share a room. So I go and set Weston down and he is like screaming. He will not put his feet on the ground at all. Like I'm trying to put him down. If I put him down, he just goes straight to his butt. He won't put any weight on his legs. Now, if you know Weston, he will sometimes put his feet up when you try to put him down because he wants to be held. This time I knew it was different when I would put him down on his feet and he would just collapse. And he just kept screaming out. So I'm like, what the heck? Maybe, you know, you know how if you sleep on your legs or if you sleep on your arm wrong, or I thought his foot was asleep, or like, you know, I thought, you know, he just slept on it wrong. And so I carry him to our bed because that's where Maya and Noah were, you know, and he was fine. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna change his diaper and, you know, just kind of let him relax and just kind of chill. And like, if his foot is asleep, give him time to like wake up. So I did that. I got Charlie fed, I got him changed, and then I was like, hey, you guys want to go downstairs, you know, let's make a fun, you know, birthday breakfast, let's, you know, put some music on, because like, you know, daddy has a surprise downstairs for you, like I think there's balloons, let's go downstairs. So Maya and Noah went running, and then, you know, I was like, come on Westy, let's, you know, let's go downstairs, let's go see the balloons. And you know, he's excited and he was trying to get out the bed. And as he's getting off the bed, he still won't put any weight down on his legs or his feet, nothing. And he just kept looking at me going, ow, ow. I was like, okay, this is really strange. So I bring Charlie downstairs because, I mean, I could carry both of them down the stairs, but I'm just not gonna do that. Come back upstairs for Weston. So I grab him, and I'm like, you know, maybe he just doesn't wanna walk, you know? So I grab him, and right as we get to the stairs, you can see just all the balloons. Gage had just filled the entire living room and the stairs with the balloons. And Maya and Noah, they were downstairs, you know, playing with all the balloons, having fun. And so, you know, that got Weston really excited. I'm like, okay, finally, like, I can put him down, he can walk, he can play with balloons, I can get breakfast going and whatnot. So we get to the bottom of the stairs, like the landing. You know, he's excited, he's yelling balloon, I hand him a balloon, I'm still holding him. And I go and set him down, and he's excited. So he, like, tries to put the weight on his feet because, you know, he's excited. What's the matter? Are you chewing on your fingers? The second he tries to put the weight onto his feet, he just collapsed. He could not stand up, and he kept looking at me, and he goes, Mommy, ow, ow. I bring him back upstairs, and I'm still trying to, like, encourage him, like, let's try standing on your feet. Maybe they're still asleep. Like, let's just, you know, let's exercise them. I'm trying to massage his feet, I'm trying to massage his legs, I'm trying to get everything, you know, kind of like flowing down there. I called Gage and I said, I think I need to bring Weston into the emergency room. He's not putting any weight onto his feet, he's crying in pain, he's saying ow, I think he has a fever. So I was like, I need to bring them into the emergency room. By the way, I have all 4 kids with me. So I pack up all the kids. Weston's still not walking at this point, none. And I'm just gonna say this now, this entire day, Weston maybe walked for about 5 minutes. Like, he would not put any weight down onto his legs. So we get there. I have all 4 kids. I have Charlie in the stroller. I have Maya and Noah hanging onto the stroller, and I'm carrying Weston. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Told them what was going on. They brought us back pretty quickly. They didn't even, like, put us in triage, or, like, not triage, like the check-in where they, like, do your temperature and, like, pulse and, you know, everything like that. They brought us straight back to the emergency room and started doing a bunch of stuff on Weston where they were doing his blood pressure. They did check his temperature there, and I told her that. I said, you know, I don't think my thermometer is correct. I feel like he has a fever. And so they did check his temp, and it was about 101, 102. So now that got me really worried because my child can't walk. He still won't walk. He won't even stand up or put weight onto it when I was sitting with him in the bed. So Charlie was in a stroller, the kids were on the 2 chairs. I don't know how all hospitals are, but our emergency room, we each get our own, like, private room. We don't have to share it. There's not curtains between, like, us and, like, other patients. It's like our own private room with, like, a door and, like, a TV and, like, chairs and, like, a sitting area. Like, it's actually pretty nice because I've heard other emergency room stories where it's like you're sharing it with, like, other people. And so the kids, they were sitting in their own chairs. Charlie was in a stroller. I was sitting with Westy on the bed, and we were watching, I think we were watching Sesame Street or, like, Daniel Tiger. And he still wouldn't put any weight down onto his legs. So like I said, the fever was really making me worried because I'm like, what is going on that is causing my child to not be able to walk? The doctor comes in and he starts, you know, asking me what's going on and, you know, when did this all start? Doctor looks him over, checks his ears, you know, everything. I don't know. He looked in his throat and he's like, oh, that could be the problem. It looks like his throat's red. It could be strep throat. Well, they do a throat swab. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, he has strep throat. You know, the infection, the fever, it's just kind of all like, that's what's making him not walk. The strep test comes back negative. Asked the doctor, I said, okay, what's next? And the doctor said, well, I think it's just some viral infection and it's gonna go away. And I said, okay, well, what about the fever? And he said, oh, he had a fever. They didn't see that in the notes, which kind of made me mad because it's kind of your job. So I'm like, yeah. So he took a look over it and was like, okay, yeah, we need to do some more testing. So then they did some blood work to make sure, you know, everything was good with his blood. And then they also wanted to do an x-ray and an ultrasound on his hips. So they took the blood, everything came back fine with his blood. They then took an x-ray. By the way, all this stuff that is happening, I have a baby, 2 older kids, Maya and Noah, and then trying to deal with Weston. So I feel really bad that Charlie had to spend most of the time in his stroller, but there's no way, like, Weston would not let me set him down. He wouldn't walk, so I'm like, my whole day was just kind of frazzled. And on top of it, you guys, it was Noah's birthday. I already felt so bad because this is not what we had planned. But we get the x-ray done. The kids had to sit in the hallway. I had to bring Weston in there, and they're like, you know what, we'll take him. You go be with the other kids, because I mean, we're in a hospital. Do the x-ray, and everything looked fine on the x-ray. The reason they did an x-ray is because they were thinking, well, maybe he accidentally sprained something. Everything came back just fine on the x-ray. So then they wanted to do an ultrasound on his hip. This is when things started getting really interesting. She starts doing the ultrasound and she doesn't say much, and she goes, you know, the radiologist, he sometimes likes to do a, you know, a live look. He likes to do it himself. And in my head, I knew that wasn't good, because I bet this is like our main hospital. We've had ultrasounds done, and not one time has that radiologist ever came in to do like a live look. So I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting there with Weston on the bed, and then Charlie starts fussing. So not only do I have Weston in my lap while they do an ultrasound on his hips, I also have Charlie like this. So I'm laying back like this with Charlie and then Weston in my lap. So she brings in the radiologist, and he's doing the ultrasound as well, and they're going back and forth between both hips. I still don't know what's going on. They just keep saying, okay, go back to that one. Okay, go back to this one. Well, then he looks at me and he said, I have another radiologist that I want to send this to, and I want to get his opinion. It'll only take a couple minutes. I'm going to send it to him right now. At this point, I'm like, what is going on? And he said, we think there's fluid in both of his hips. So in my head, I'm like, okay, what does that even mean? I'm just gonna let them do their job, let him send over the report to the other radiologist to get that opinion. Then that radiologist gets the opinion, and they send in, oh my gosh, correct me if I'm wrong, but an orthopedic radiologist? Is that even a term? They sent in like an orthopedic type person, radiologist, I don't know. So at this point, I had not only had the ultrasound tech in there, I had a radiologist, and we also had an orthopedic radiologist. I think that's what they're called. So we had 3 different people, 2 doctors and an ultrasound tech, looking at Weston's hips because he had fluid in both of them. So we spent a good amount of time in that ultrasound room. Figured out that Weston had fluid, like I said, in both of his hips. So then we go back to our room in the emergency, and they said, you know, they're gonna talk to the doctor and see what the next step is. So we get back to the room, and we're basically waiting for the doctor. I'm updating Gage on everything that's happening. I still don't know what fluid in the hips mean. I'm still very concerned, because not only does Weston have a fever, he also has fluid in both of his hips. We got there at about 10:30, 11. And at this point, it was already 2. And so, I mean, we were there for a while. Well, the doctor comes in and he said, I'm going to call and talk to the on-call doctor down at Children's Hospital in Minneapolis. And they are going to see what they think we should do. And he came back in and he basically said the doctor down at Children's wants to see Weston, because the hospital we went to, there's a pediatric like area, but it's not like children's. Their main focus was getting a pediatric orthopedic to look at Weston and to figure out everything that was going on. They said that we needed to transfer Weston down to Children's Hospital and get everything figured out. So we did not have to go by ambulance. We could drive ourselves. So at this point, by the time I left, it was about, gosh, I think I left at about 4 in the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Texted my sister and I said, you know, can you please watch the kids? I need to bring Weston down to Minneapolis to the Children's Hospital. I really cannot bring all 4 of them down there by myself. Gage was going to meet me at home so we could just bring him down there and focus on everything that's going on. So at this point, Gage and I are pretty freaked out. We don't know if we need to bring stuff. We don't know if we are going to be staying at Children's. This doctor was basically saying, you know, with fluid in the hips, they might have to sometimes sedate him and get the fluid out. Like I said, this is still Noah's birthday, and we spent the entire day at the hospital focusing on Weston. And we had those cupcakes and we were gonna do a little celebration, and now we have to bring Weston down to Children's Hospital. So I basically told my sister, I said, you know, can you please bring the cupcakes with you and just do a celebration with Noah? Like, I feel terrible. We're gonna do a little celebration a different day. Like, this is not what we were expecting. We thought we were just seeing one doctor. This was so overwhelming. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I think Gage and I counted 7 doctors in this room. So there was the nurse, well, I shouldn't say doctors. There was 7 like people from the Children's Hospital in this room. So there was the nurse. The nurse had like a person with her like training. There was the on-call doctor. There was another doctor, I don't know who, and then there was the orthopedic, like a pediatric orthopedic doctor, and then there was one more. I didn't even get all their names, to be honest. They were just all in there, and they spent a good amount of time in there. All of them just talking to us, looking over Weston, and really figuring out what was going on. The prior hospital had sent everything down to Children's, so they didn't have to do any like blood work or ultrasounds or anything. And the orthopedic doctor is the one who really looked over Weston, and they were like, you can still move Weston around. Like, he could bend his leg in every direction possible. He just couldn't put the weight down on his feet. Him not being able to put the weight down on his feet had nothing to do with the hips. They don't know why there's fluid in the hips, and we still need to follow up with the doctor. Sometimes you get fluid in the hips if you've just gotten over like an infection, like a sickness. And so they said that had nothing to do with why he couldn't put like weight down on his feet, because if it was them moving him the way that they were, he would be screaming in pain. They pressed a lot up on his hips, no pain. They pressed a lot on his feet, and that's where he kept saying ow. Basically, like, the whole moral of this story is we never figured out what was wrong with Weston. They told us it could be the start of hand, foot, mouth, which I'm like, he has no blisters. He's good now. He's walking. He was literally fine the next day. No fever. He could walk. I don't know what happened, but it wasn't hand, foot, mouth like they were thinking, because they were thinking, well, maybe, you know, the blisters, he could be starting to get blisters on his feet and it hurts and he doesn't want to walk. I don't know. It was just a crazy day. We finally got home at about, I think, 7, and so my sister was like, you know what, I'm gonna bring Noah over and we'll just do the celebration then. So we, you know, we had popsicles, and we had his cupcakes, and we had just a little celebration. I still feel bad. That is how his entire birthday went, was spent at the emergency room trying to figure out what was wrong with Weston. I do still need to make a follow-up appointment with Weston's doctor, because I kind of want to make sure that fluid's gone. That is basically what happened on Noah's birthday. I'm just going to end this vlog because it is so crazy long. Let me know if you guys have ever experienced this with your kids, where they wouldn't walk or put weight on their feet. They said they would be more concerned if there was fluid in just one hip, and that it's actually good that there's fluid in both. I have no idea. I'm gonna lay Mr. Charlie down for a nap. I'm gonna go make sure my kids are cleaning up their room. I feel like this was such a long video, and I'm so sorry. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and we will talk to you in our next one. Bye, guys.